Hey everybody, Darren Hall of Exquisite Exotics here. We have the question and answers from last week's video. There weren't a lot, but you know what? We're still going to do it. So it should be rather short, but thank you for the questions. We appreciate the people who left them. Holly, what is our first question?
Our first one is from Petals and Scales. Do you guys breed year-round? If so, when did you decide when it was that time to?
Okay, good question. So yes, at this point we kind of do breed year-round. I'm assuming you are talking just about the ball pythons, because with the geckos and the ball pythons, we're breeding something year-round anyway. But as far as just the ball pythons, really it was watching follicle growth. And when you still see girls growing follicles, and then we kind of run on a breeding season. Even though we breed year-round, we start our new pairings in October, mid-October-ish. So when we start what our breeding season is, and you still have girls that are growing follicles from the previous season, it kind of means you have to kind of breed year-round, even though that wasn't your plan. So that's kind of what led us there. If we have a year where maybe all of our girls go and we don't see any more follicle growth, we don't feel any more follicle growth, we would just stop breeding until October rolled around again. But I think at this point we have enough breeding females that at any point in time there seems to be somebody who's growing follicles, so we just kind of keep breeding.
Okay.
Question. Anything to add to that question, Holly?
Nope.
No.
No, because that's pretty much exactly it.
Okay.
Okay.
Next question, and this was a long one.
Yes, it's from Speleomander. Please tell me if I got that correct. I purchased a ball python. Oh, yes, I remember you. I purchased a ball python from you guys, and a big factor for me was that yours was already feeding on frozen thaw rodents. I've had some purchases where I can't read with my glasses today. I'm getting old. They were raised on live switch easily for me, but I'm dealing with one now that is very stubborn despite all the various tricks. So my question is, when you purchase a python that is accustomed to live rodents, what is your process for switching them to thawed? Do you ever relent and offer live if they don't take thawed after a certain length of time? Any particular tips or tricks that aren't well known already?
So, to narrow that down to questions, what is our process for switching? Do we ever relent after a certain length of time? And what tricks do we have? So what is our process? So typically we start with just offering, right? See if they'll take it when we're feeding our other ball pythons a frozen thawed anyway. We feed on a weekly schedule. Well, no, not really. Not every. It's a weird schedule. It's a
2-week rotation.
It's a 2-week rotation, but
sizes.
Yeah. But we offer to that snake every time we're doing frozen thawed when we first get them, to try to get them to switch. Do we ever relent? Yes. At about 10% body weight loss, we will go, you know what? You're not going to eat frozen. We're going into live. And we do have a few live feeders. Actually, you can see a few yellow tags probably in the video. There's one right there. Your head. Yellow tags mean that they eat live. And there are a few that we just cannot get to eat anything but live. And we've had ones that were eating frozen thawed and then just stopped eating. And we had to give them alive just to get them back eating, and haven't been able to get them back on frozen thawed. That's happened too for us. So it does happen. Tricks. So I would say the skip offering for a week, and then like once they're on live, let's say. We've had ones where if we skip an occasional live, and then the next week, rather than offering a live again, we offer a frozen thawed instead. All of a sudden, I think that fact that we didn't even offer them food, they think maybe there's some food scarcity. Now, this is just my guess. I'm not saying that's what they're exactly thinking. But my guess is they think maybe the food has gotten a little more scarce and they're more willing to eat something. That has got them to take a frozen and come off live. The other trick, and this is my only other trick I have, and then I'll open up to Holly. The only other trick I can tell you that we have used, and kind of sounds odd, but it works. Instead of, normally when we feed frozen thawed, we hold them kind of by the tail. Instead of holding them by the tail, we hold them by kind of like the scruff, the back of the head, and actually walk the frozen rat around the tub as if it's a live rat. Instead of it dangling fakely in the air, just walk it around the tub and make it look like it's a live rat walking around. That has actually worked on numerous occasions. Well. So it may seem kind of silly, but make the frozen rat look like a live rat, basically. And that has worked really, really well for us on many occasions.
Worked the most,
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah. Any other tricks? Holly actually does more feeding than I do.
Yeah, so another thing I've noticed is if you slowly open the tub, try to look and see where they're at, figure it out, that you're wasting time. If you were to open the tub very quickly, pop the rodent in, still on your tongs, or I hope you're not using your hand, but however you're feeding, pop it in slightly in the dark. So like only open the tub maybe like this wide, pop in, and sometimes they snatch quickly. So I've noticed that a few times. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm trying that with one that I'm just totally finicky. It's being finicky with food, but just doing that in general. Because if you've ever had a collection of size and noticed when you open the tub and they lunge out ready, they're no food day. I'm telling you, they are like cats. If you have a cat and every morning at 6, it's meow food time. Like, to me, they know. I feel like they know. So when
they also smell the scent of rat.
They do, but listen, our GTP knows. Sunday morning, he's ready. He's out ready. Anyway, the point of what I'm trying to say is throw it in quickly and kind of in the dark, and they'll normally snatch it because it's more like it's coming into their home.
And what I'll add to that, because you're right.
Terrible with wording. I didn't mention that already.
And staying on camera, she always like.
Sorry. I'm fidgety.
What I'll add to that is that I think part of it too is if when you feed our live eaters that have switched because of that are also the ones that will be right out front when it's time to feed the live. They're like right there ready to go, and you've got to like quickly throw in the live, otherwise they're coming out at you. And then they're also the ones that like as soon as the live hits the floor on the tub, snatch it up right away. They don't even wait for a little bit. Those are the ones that it's been more successful to do that trick on, because you don't give them that moment to realize it's not a frozen thawed. You just open the tub and quickly throw it in there like you would with a live, instead of opening it up and kind of holding it and dangling it. And I think it just tricks them to think that it is a live, and then we've got the ones to switch that way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Any other tricks?
No. Make sure that they're warm.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, not hot. Don't cook them. But make sure that they're warm, because as we continue on feeding later in the morning, we'll notice that they kind of cool down a little bit more to like a room temperature. And sometimes they won't sense it or anything, so they won't take it. And that's not necessarily ones that aren't taking at all. But if you notice that one didn't take and you're like, oh, why did you refuse this week? You normally do, or you normally take. Just make sure that they're warm to the touch. So probably a little bit warmer than your body heat.
Yep.
But not hot. Don't make it too hot. You don't want to cook the rat.
Did we cover everything in the question?
Oh,
make sure we got it all. Let Holly read over it real quick. Put on the Jeopardy music.
When you purchase a python that is accustomed to live rodents, what's your process for switching them to thawed? Do we think we covered that well?
I think so.
Okay. Do you ever relent and offer live? Yeah,
yep.
We do.
Occasionally.
And any particular tips or tricks?
I think it covers everything.
I think so.
Yeah. And while we're having this Q&A anyway, we'll put Holly on the spot. Are there any questions that you see that we get emails about or messages in general about often?
The biggest question is, what are the parents?
That's for the geckos.
For geckos, and actually for snakes and stuff parents, too. Yeah. If you ever want to take a look at what we are breeding, we do have our website that shows our breeders. We are trying to work on updating it with better pictures. I don't know if you've been with us a while. We've had different lighting for Morph Market, and it's only gotten better, and now we realize we totally need to update some pictures on there. But it's still the same females and same males. And so, yeah, that's the biggest thing is if people ask what this pairing is, and we can show you. I mean, also our Morph Market has videos.
Not going to answer any question for anybody by telling them. They're still going to have to ask who the parent is.
I guess that's true.
That didn't really answer anybody's...
Well, I literally think like, wow, what's the biggest question we always get? Hey, do you have pictures of these parents?
I mean, if we're doing like biggest question email, my biggest question I think I see is what's it cost to ship to, and then a question mark, and then or then the zip code. Which, by the way, okay, here's my tip of the day. If you are a buyer online for reptiles and you want to be a good buyer, the first thing you do is read the store policy for the place you're buying it from. Because I can tell you 90% of the questions that we get are questions that are answered in our store policy. If you ask us, what's it cost to ship this animal? That's already in our store policy. It's already down there, written down exactly what it's going to cost. You don't even have to ask. Questions, good questions. I love good questions. Some people ask fantastic questions. Some people will ask questions like, what's their eating habits? How often are they eating? What size are they on? Because Morph Market just says like frozen thawed rat. It doesn't say what size. Like what size are they on? What was the pairing, right? Like that's a really good question of like Holly mentioned, like for the ball pythons. Like what did produce this? And I think that's a fantastic question because occasionally there's a gene in there that the breeder doesn't recognize. And then you have that gene in your collection and it starts popping up and you're like, what is it? Where did it come from? If you knew the pairing, you're a little more informed to try to figure it out yourself. So there are really good questions. But if you're asking questions that are already in the store policy, the first thing the seller is going to think is, man, I wish they had read my store policy. So,
another question I feel like we get a lot of is the temperament for the animals. What temperament is this animal? I can tell you right now, we will be able to 100% tell you about the ball python. We handle these guys every day. We look at them every day. We know their personalities and which ones, which are not actually for sale, so it doesn't matter anyway, but the ones that are a little bit more, feisty.
Defensive.
Just, a little bit more, this is my house, what are you doing in it kind of attitude. Non-violent. I just mean like they're a little bit more feisty. And the other ones that, I can actually touch their head or, if I have to check their mouth and I have to kind of grip the back of their, they're very temperamented well. I can totally tell you for that. My tip for telling you about geckos.
They're all
jumpy until they reach a certain age. And then even then, they're not as jumpy. So when we've gotten a lot of questions are like, which one's best for handling? Well, until they hit maybe 20 grams, maybe even higher, you're going to have to deal with flying gecko. Yeah. So they're wild. And and I don't mean just wild, like wild animal kind of.
They do. What's nice though is they do tame down. When they get bigger, they become very handleable.
But little ones you're possibly not going to find one that's like chill
as a baby,
as a hatchling. Yeah. So that's my tip if you're asking people that, and if any breeder is just like, nah, this crested gecko is like beyond chill. It might be.
Yep, I'm sure there are.
There could be, but I'm just going to be honest. You're probably going to have them fling out of the enclosure you put them in at some point, or when you go to hold them before they don't even look like they're going to move, and then they fling 4 feet away. Yeah. So it happens.
That's a small crested gecko for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, you put me on the spot. You said, and you kind of did. That's why I messed up the question.
Yeah, but you didn't mess up. You just answered.
You were like,
answered something that didn't really answer something. You gave an answer that wasn't an answer. Like this is what people ask, but what I'm telling you is not going to help answer you for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. I think that's going to wrap up this Q&A. Unless we get any more late entry questions, in which case you'll see me cut right now. And if not, then we didn't get any late entry questions. So we will wrap up the video.
Okay. Yes. And please don't allow yourself to just wait until we ask you Q&A. I know that we've done this a few times. If you have any questions, let us know. If you're cool with it, we might throw that out on a video for more to see later down the line.
Or we'll just answer it in the comments.
We'll just answer it in the comment either way.
Give you a call or whatever we need to do.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Like Daryl mentioned before, we can be reached not only on YouTube, but on our Instagram and Facebook private messages. But Facebook's a little wonky sometimes.
Business Suite sucks.
Business Suite is not very good.
And if you I already ran that rant before.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Well, then move
anyway,
on.
Facebook, Instagram, email, contact form on the website, all there. Mm-hmm. Anything else?
Nope. I'm making this more awkward.
You normally do. All right. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff, and we'll see you all next week.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.